Hey everyone, how's it going? Hi, I'm Justin Mickle, CEO and co-founder of NutriCampus, and welcome to another episode of Zero to One Podcast. I'm joined today with Lurysol. She is the owner of
Hmm.
Combined Fitness,
Yes.
and they have a lot of stuff going on today. So we're going to get into it in today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so Lurysol, what's your origin story with Combined Fitness? Like,
Well, with combined fitness. So I became a personal trainer about 26 years ago, and
mhm,
I started off with 24-hour fitness. It just kind of happened. I wasn't planning to be a trainer. Just I had a friend that was already working there, and they needed a girl trainer, and they said, "Hey, you should come check it out." And at the time, I really didn't know what I was doing after college, so I was like, "Sure, let me go check it out." Took a test, passed, and then they trained me to start training clients. Just started developing myself a little bit more with more certifications, and then it just became so much more for my clients, a life changing thing that made me open my eyes to, wow, this could actually be something, and I can actually make a career out of this.
mhm,
So I stayed with the company for I want to say 6 years, and then it became more like obviously I started getting promoted, and then it became more about the numbers and the money than about the clientele. And I wasn't able to train a lot of clients because I became a manager at a very large club,
mhm.
and so I had staff I had to train. And I mean, I love helping and developing other trainers, but my passion was trying to help clients. So I was given the opportunity to go to a small training studio. And that was really hard because I moved to Stockton and I didn't know anybody. And I really had to go out there. That's how I started running because I had to meet people.
Right.
And then I slowly started building up my clientele. And I still wasn't completely fulfilled because I wanted to do more. And so almost 16 years ago, I got the opportunity to open up my own space. And I actually started off doing pole fitness with some personal training, and then that really grew. So the space behind where I'm at became open. I took it over, and
Mhm.
then here we are 16 years later doing all types of workouts.
So when it comes to like that first opportunity for opening that space, like, can you talk a little bit more about that? Like a little bit more about that story?
Yeah, well, I knew I needed to be different to stand
Hmm.
out, especially in this town. And I wanted to do pole fitness. I had been doing classes like in LA, San Francisco. So I wanted to branch out on that. Somebody told me that there was a space for that. So
Hmm.
I went out looking for it, and there was a lady that had poles. And she was actually a physical therapist. She had an idea for it, but just life happened for her and she wasn't able to carry that on. So she was like, here, just take over my lease, purchase my poles, and then have at it. And that's what I did.
Right on.
So it was actually really easy.
Yeah. So, okay, when it comes to like, you started out as a trainer in the initial building up clientele phase, was that you just getting people that were already members of the gym and then, kind of, hey, would you like to come do personal training with me? And going from there?
Yeah. Well, when you're working for a company, obviously the clientele is there. You just have to really build a rapport with them.
Hmm.
And and that's how it started. You're giving initial consultations to people, talking about their goals and saying, okay, how can I benefit you more to help you reach your goals?
Right. Giving value first and then going into the actual sale. And then
Yes.
when it came time to actually train trainers on how to do that same thing as a manager, how does that go down?
That was a little bit harder because you have
Yeah.
people that are just kind of there because they think
Hmm.
it's cool to be a trainer. And it is, it's such a great job, but their hearts weren't completely in it. So to try to really get them to understand, like, this is more than just a job. Like, we're really changing people's lives.
Yeah.
And if you don't see it that way, you're not going to build a business.
No, and it's kind of interesting because like the body's the one thing that you take with you everywhere. I think that's
Hmm.
the first shock that people have when they first hit the gym is like, "Oh, I worked out today. I should be able to do like no, but it's the same body everywhere you go. And I don't think
Yeah.
that's like I don't think it's really understood when you first start working out of what is the like how do I work out? Like
Hmm.
how do I maintain my health? How to maintain eating properly? Even beyond the gym, right? We're only in the gym like maybe 2 hours at most, maybe three
Yeah.
hours if you're insane, but right.
Yeah.
And then with the trainer side of things, like, did you have to work on getting them more connected with people? How did that work? How did you kind of build that culture within the gym?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you have to teach them how to connect because if people don't trust you, they're not going to give you any money.
Yeah.
So, you have to it's more beyond of the training, but getting to know what's outside of, when they're coming in because a lot of people are going through stress at work, stress with their families. And so you kind of want to again, build that rapport with them and get them to trust you so you can help, you know, cancel that out, the outside world, and focus on, okay, now we're going to, work on your goal.
Yeah, locking in. So, I mean, that's big. When it comes to getting someone from, I just want to work out and I'm super motivated right now, because that's kind of the buzz, right? You get a bunch of people who
Mhm.
come in January 1st who usually
Yeah.
leave around March, right? Who are super motivated, right? How do you create from motivation to discipline, like as a trainer, but also as a coach?
Well, I like doing small term goals as well as longer term goals.
Hmm.
So, like, that's why we do assessment on, like, at least for me, I do biweekly. So it keeps them motivated and focused. Like, okay, you dropped 4 pounds in these last 2 weeks. Okay, we got to keep going. Let's reassess, and staying connected with your clients, communicating, which is really big because if you don't communicate, like, you don't know, again, what's going on in the outside world that's
Hmm.
affecting them when they're coming in. So if they have all this other thing that's all that noise, they're not really going to stay focused in the gym. So you
Yeah.
want to kind of tie them into that and be like, this is your time to improve. So let's stay focused.
Yeah. So how do you create that? Like where it's, that it's just a navigating those hard conversations of, hey, when you walk through those doors, first of all, the hardest part is showing up. Like that's at least 50%
Yeah.
of it, right? Once
Hmm.
you walk through the doors, you're like halfway done with whatever you got to do already. And then at that point, just hit some pre-workout or get in your warm up, get a good playlist going, and then just go at it.
Yeah. And
But
like, I think
mhm,
too, helping them feel accomplished during their workouts,
yeah,
that is big because when they leave, I want them to feel good about themselves. Like they just crushed their workout. The endorphins are going,
yeah.
and that keeps them coming back because they feel good.
Yeah. I think it's funny how, like, when you first start working out, you think about, oh, people get addicted to going to the gym. You're like, that's bullshit. It never, like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? This is suffering. Right. And
Yeah.
then eventually you start getting good at it and know what you're doing. And then sure enough, you're addicted.
Hmm.
But I think that trying to can that and then, say, hey, here's exactly what it looks like is much easier said than done. So when it comes to like having those conversations, when it comes to having that, when is it time to go, hey, listen, client, you've been working out 4 days a week, you're seeing some results, but like really, really, you need 5, and you probably need to start working on your own time.
Well, I mean, you have to tell them, like, okay, what's the big picture? What are you wanting to accomplish?
Hmm.
Because there's only so much I can do for you in that time frame that you're coming in to see me. So you got to put in a little bit more effort on your own
Yeah.
because I can't guide you. I can't hold your hand to everything.
Training wheels.
You have to, yeah, you have
Yeah.
to be accountable yourself.
That's good. So how do you build, like, let's say I'm Joe Schmo for starting out. Like you know, I saw your ad on YouTube or Instagram and I just want to get in shape and look good naked. Right. Really, really, that's what it is. I want to be able to touch my toes and look good naked.
Hmm.
Do we do a
Well,
4-week program and then go into there? Or
I actually like to do 6-week programs with my clients. So it holds them over a little bit after a month.
that's good.
And then again, the accountability and the communication. So like, let's say I didn't see them doing their cardio, I will text them and be like,
Hmm.
"Hey, I didn't see you check in on Instagram.
Yeah.
You didn't do your post. So what's up?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm on my way." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Good.
So at least they know that I'm watching.
Yeah, that accountability is huge, honestly. And someone caring enough to pay attention is, I think it's a big motivator that's underestimated. We kind of
Hmm.
see it a lot as kids, but never as adults. And it's behavior, like behavior at a small scale, still behavior at a big
Oh yeah.
scale.
And there
Um,
comes a point where your clients don't want to let you down too, because they know that you're putting in a lot of work, obviously, to help build the program, teach
yeah.
them, and you will get those clients that don't want to let you down.
Hmm. Yeah, those are the best ones to work with, honestly.
Hmm.
When it comes to managing multiple clients and kind of building that, big trust, right? You have trust with 30 people that are, your clientele. How many clients do you have now, by the way, out of curiosity?
Well, with a little bit of like the pull, it's in the right now we're about 100, a little over 100.
Hmm. Right. So 100 people, you have 100 people who trust you with their fitness, which in my opinion is like their number one investment that they could possibly make. But that's just my
Mhm.
2 cents. How do you make that a thriving culture?
It is hard because it's constant, like having to get creative with everything that you're doing with your clients and getting them really engaged into the workouts, having them find also, a workout buddy that keeps them accountable. So when
Hmm.
they're coming to their workout and making it fun,
Okay.
because
So some
life is
teamwork in
hard.
that
So we
sense
got
of
to have
play.
fun stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So incorporating that sense of play. I mean, that's super important for entrepreneurship. That's incredibly important. right? That's incredibly important for anything you're doing for a long period of time because
Hmm.
I think there's a point where it's at first it's like that blood stained, like let's go rah rah, but then eventually it's the point
Yeah.
where it's like this is the most fun shit I'm doing. This is the most fun I'm having. I
Hmm.
would do this even if I don't get paid to do it at all. In your personal journey, how do you describe that going from trainer to manager and then going, I don't actually have as much fun doing this. I'm going to open up my own space. How does that work? Like, how did you?
You really have to have a desire because
Hmm.
it's not easy. I mean, it's not like I just opened up and I had 100 clients. It started off maybe six
Hmm.
and just really focusing in on those clients, helping them. So, word of mouth is big, so then they started bringing me more people. Again, these people started seeing results, and then it was just a trickle down effect. But it's always constant hustling because there's a
Hmm.
lot of competition out there. Everybody wants to do whatever's new, whatever's the fad. And yeah, just have to keep bringing them in a fun, engaging way is the best way I could put it.
Okay. What do you do to keep up with the competition? Like, what's your big separator?
Well, I am different in the sense that I do have a pole studio, which I am the only one in Stockton
Yeah.
that has that. And then honestly, I'm old school. I've been doing this for a very long time. So I'm very basic when it comes to things because realistically, you can't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Fitness is fitness. And as I've gotten older, my fitness style may have changed. So I don't do a lot of high impact stuff.
Hmm.
And I gear it more towards functional core training. I do have some athletes that come in, so I will do that. But other than that, my goal is just to be able to function as I'm aging. And a lot of my clients are feeling that because some of them are old athletes as well. I played volleyball in college, so sometimes I feel the aches and pains of that.
Yeah.
So I want to still be able to go hard in the gym. So my
Hmm.
style of training is completely different.
As a trainer, but also as an athlete yourself, when it comes to that like prehab and rehab stuff and then working out, how in depth are you on that stuff?
We do a lot of stretching. We do a lot of foam rolling. I also work with, I have a chiropractor that I go to
Hmm.
every single week. I also have a massage therapist that I see once a month. So those are all things that help in the process and maintain
Yeah.
what I'm doing so I'm not injuring myself.
That's really good. I mean, so the way I kind of like look at it is I describe the body as is this it's a vehicle. It's a car
Hmm.
that repairs itself a little bit with your food that you're taking in, with the fuel you're taking in. Um, but at the end of the day, it's still a vehicle and you have to
Hmm.
make sure that you do the maintenance on it in order for it to run properly.
Yeah.
Um, in your stuff trying to, you mentioned the pole studio, you also mentioned the fitness studio, you also mentioned the run club. You have a lot of different disciplines. How many of your clients do all three?
Uh, Anywhere between 10 to 15.
Hmm.
It just depends. Not everybody is a runner. And so what I want to teach people is if you're out there running, you're a runner.
Yeah.
We have a perception of what runners look like, these very thin, you know, people that
Hmm.
run really fast, and that's not reality.
Right.
I don't consider myself a fast runner. I'm a very good pacer, so I try to bring my clients out there, especially the ones that get nervous that want to try it, and then they see. I don't tell them how far we're running out the first time they come out, and then
Wow.
all of a sudden, oh, hey, you just ran a 5K, and they're like, what? Yeah, it's that easy. You're just putting too much pressure on yourself that you're limiting yourself on what you can do.
Yeah.
So I don't tell people hey, just show up at this time and we're going to go out on a run.
Hmm.
And then they feel so good. And then they tell everybody oh my God, I ran a 5K today.
No, that's very true. I think identity plays a very big role when it comes to this stuff. And I think that people get, and you're right earlier, people get in their heads too much and they don't start at all, which is worse than sucking, like objectively. So having someone run a 5K, even if you don't tell them,
Mhm.
right, is in and of itself a good deed, even though it probably feels like shit. But, like over time they become a runner or they see themselves
Mhm.
as a runner. So, and I feel like you've seen this identity shift a lot happen in your, just from the big amount of experience that you've had. When do you, I also want to say, like, when do you see those moments where like it switches or it clicks for them? Like, how's that experience been? Like, if you were to bottle it and say, or tell someone who doesn't know what that's like at all.
I think for most people, it comes in different phases.
Hmm.
But the only thing I can do as their trainer or their running coach is just keep them motivated, celebrate the small wins, and then something just clicks inside of them.
Okay.
That confidence comes back. Because I feel like with life, we all lose our confidence. We all lose ourselves in our daily monotonous days that I like to celebrate the small wins.
Hmm.
And then, I don't know, within a couple months, all of a sudden they're doing it on their own.
Yeah. Yeah. And confidence is huge. I think, how would you describe confidence in your own words?
Uh, just feeling powerful.
Okay.
It's just keeping it simple. Just feeling powerful, feeling proud of yourself, and knowing that any small goal or large goal you can accomplish as long as you stay consistent.
Okay. I like that. It's like, I mean, like a lot of things, I've heard a lot about agency lately, having a deep sense of agency, being able to kind of operate in your own system and be
Hmm.
willing to be wrong on stuff and be willing to take some risks and be able to take some social gambles.
Hmm.
Those are huge. When it comes to that big identity shift from, I have never worked out a day in my life, I'm not even like, and you hear all the negative self talk that happens too. Like, I know from my personal journey, used to be 270 and not confident at all, to where I'm at now, did a bodybuilding show, the trophies at the back,
Yeah, it's awesome.
right? But that's, the identity shift took time, and, it took steps, right? It
Especially for
took,
a bodybuilding show. I've done 2 shows myself,
ooh,
and that is by far I it's by far the hardest thing I've ever done.
yeah.
Like, I will run another marathon before I do another show.
Oh yeah, shows, bodybuilding
But
shows
it's amazing.
fucking suck. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. How long was your preps for those when you did them?
The first one was 18 weeks,
Okay.
and then the second one was 12 weeks.
Okay, so 18 weeks and 12 weeks. Why 12 weeks? That sounds
Because
horrible.
I know, but I was somewhat already close to, because I
Okay.
did kind of 2 shows back to back, because I knew that I probably wasn't gonna do it again, and so I kinda just wanted to get it out of the way.
All right. I mean, personally, I did one and I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this ever again. Like, it was a one and done for me.
But we say that about everything, because I say, like, when I ran my first marathon, "Okay,
Yeah.
I'm never doing that again," and I just signed up for my 11th one for next year.
11. Okay. So 11 marathons underneath your belt. See, the thing is, like, with identities, you've gone from like, okay, there's a point where you haven't worked out at all, for sure, like origin story. Maybe you were an athlete in the beginning, right? You're like, okay.
Mhm.
And now you're running 11 marathons and have done 2 shows like back to back. Fuck that. Like, honestly, like, great for you. Holy crap. 11 marathons. As far as some of the places that you've run, going from a non-runner to running 11 marathons, like, what were some of the things that you did personally that helped you stay consistent and stay motivated?
Just not stopping,
Okay.
because honestly, once you stop, it's harder to get back on.
Yeah.
Even if it's like you're not ever gonna have a great workout, but you still
Mhm.
go work out and you go through the motion of it. Same thing with running. You're not always gonna have a good run. Sometimes you may stop to walk, and that's
Mhm.
okay. But at least you're moving, you're still moving forward.
Yeah. Even if even if it's pitiful, just keep going. Right.
Exactly.
Um, I think Winston Churchill's like, during World War II, this is terrible. I'm a super history nerd. It's like, if you're going through hell, keep going. I'm like, okay, sick.
Mhm. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
Yeah, 11 marathons. My God. Okay, cool, cool. That's a lot of running. When it comes to being able to transfer that, like, what makes someone, in your opinion, like as a fitness person, right? What makes you trustworthy? Is it the experience you have? Is it the knowledge you have? Is it the fact that you can teach it? Like, what's the thing that you think is the biggest priority for people to know or to understand when they first get into the business?
Well, definitely. I mean, I have 26 years of experience, so I've seen it all. I've seen it all, heard it all, so I can kind of manipulate things a little bit better when it comes to like a client giving me every type of excuse. And I do feel like I really do build great rapport with them and get them to believe in themselves, to trust, and to know that I'm here for your best interest, because I am your biggest cheerleader.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, my goal and my job is to teach you and to show you and inspire you and to regain that confidence again, that you lost a long time ago.
Okay.
Like, I'm here to make you better.
Yeah. To
And so a
regain.
little bit by little bit, yeah, they start seeing things and they're like, oh, okay, I can do this. I can lift that. I can run that.
Hmm. That's really good. You mentioned regaining confidence. And I think it's interesting because, as someone who, from my perspective, I feel like I've never been, like, I wasn't confident before and now I have confidence. And so I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, well, from my perspective, we built confidence that we didn't have before.
Yeah. And
Why
you
do you,
have that confidence now
yeah,
because you're in better shape. You're
Yeah.
taking better care of yourself physically, mentally.
Hmm.
And once you get those things down, I feel like your confidence just goes through the roof.
Yeah,
Because realistically, like when you feel good, it just portrays in everything else in life.
it does. And you're happier. You're a happier human
Hmm.
being, which I think is something that it's weird because there's a point where if you chase happiness, you're going to end up miserable. If you
Yeah.
chase discipline, you're like also miserable, but you're weirdly successful. But there's like this
Yeah.
good middle ground where you're fulfilled, and that's the one you got to go for. And how to get that is probably the biggest learning curve of all the things I've seen so far.
Yeah.
So, like, what are some of the things that kind of going back to your story? You've opened your space. You've started off with
Hmm.
6 people, and now you have 100. What was that like?
Hmm. I mean, it's great. It's motivating
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, okay, I'm doing something right. And there's same thing with business. There's good days, there's bad months,
Mm-hmm.
but you just have to know that that's your purpose there to like really help people. And those people that want to be helped are going to come. And again, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. My way of training, my way of just thinking about fitness may be a little bit different to, somebody that does CrossFit or somebody that does, Pilates. We all have our different styles. And so like, I think, especially for clients, they need to go find what works for them and who they relate to.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just been very fortunate that, I'm a little crazy. So they must be crazy if they're coming in.
Yeah, definitely some
Hmm.
voluntary masochism there for sure. So how do you
Yeah.
build that clientele though? Because 6 people in word of mouth alone, like as much fun word of mouth is, like 6 people is still 6 people to getting to 100.
Yeah. Word of mouth has honestly been the biggest thing. Where my location is, I actually was pretty hidden.
Okay.
And so for me, their check-ins played a big role. I do, would print out flyers and stuff and go drop them off, but how many people really pick up flyers?
Yeah. So
So,
how did you tell them like, hey, go tell 10 people to come to the gym and see what happens? Yeah,
mhm.
just
Well,
like that.
I would offer them like a little bit of a rewards type of program, like, hey, for every person that comes in, I'll give you $5 off your next time.
Okay.
So there's got to be a little bit of an incentive. And then there comes a point where people are just so grateful because they're feeling so good that then they're like, hey, I'm good. Like, you don't have to do that. But I still keep tally, because I want
Nice.
them to know that I am grateful for like them being consistent with me and then bringing in people.
Nice. Okay. So you brought in more people. You're incorporating a lot of teamwork and a lot of play into your fitness classes. You have proof that you know what you're talking about, which from the 11 marathons, from the years experience, these are all good things. Building the community side though, right? That's a whole
Uh-huh.
new beast in of itself. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Well, like building the community, one is getting out there,
Mm-hmm.
getting to meet other small business owners out there. And one thing that I feel like my studio does stand out is we do a lot of community service in the sense that like I cut my pricing from my personal training
Mm-hmm.
to purchase like backpacks, school supplies,
Wow.
and a lot of people do like that. So I've also like gone out and reached out to other small business owners and like try to incorporate them in what I do
Mm-hmm.
to build more awareness.
Awesome. So can you talk about a bit more about that? Like, what were some of the things that you've done for that? Like, did you guys?
So like one of our biggest things, like right before COVID hit, we were
Mm-hmm.
able to get 1,000 backpacks for the community. And that
Wow.
was huge because a lot of, Stockton, there's certain areas, certain pockets where it's very, very low income. And that started because I had a friend who was a teacher and she would always talk about this cute little boy that came into her class and he would come in with a grocery bag
Mm-hmm.
with one pencil and one eraser. And I was like, wait, I grew up very, very poor, but I apparently, there's different levels of poor.
Yeah, there's levels to
And I
this.
always had a backpack. And so that was just like, wow, like that to me was just like a big eye opener. I felt like I could do more with
Mm-hmm.
what I do. And so the first year we did it, I think I raised like 300 backpacks. And then the next year it was 500. And then right before COVID hit, we hit 1,000 backpacks.
Rock
And
on.
then some of the other small businesses that were involved, bought pencils, folders, whatever we needed. We stuffed these backpacks and we dropped them off at some of these very low income schools.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, how important do you think it is for business owners to give back to the communities that they're in?
It's very important because,
Yeah.
like especially like these kids are a part of our future. And if
Hmm.
they feel like there are people out there that are giving and they care,
Yeah.
you could change one little kid's life. And who knows, they could become an NFL player, an NBA player, and then hopefully they'll give back because they receive a backpack. You know,
Yeah.
like it's just something you never know who you're going to inspire.
Yeah. And I think it's huge. I think being able to build towards a positive cause and positive outcomes, like,
Uh-huh.
I think more positive sum games are what we need to focus on as a societal thing. Like, I think it's a big commentary that needs to take place. Is like, there's all this stuff going on, but like at the end of the day, we're also human.
Yeah.
Like, it's backpacks for kids. That's a good drive. Have you guys done any other charitable events besides that, or?
Well, I've also helped out at the emergency food bank. I
Okay.
did a couple times go out there and help donate food. I also sometimes the food bank will post like, "Hey, we need canned food," or "Hey, we need pasta boxes." So if I'm at the grocery store, I'll grab a couple boxes and then I'll make a post saying like, "Hey, you guys, if you bring in 5 boxes, I'll give you a discount on your drop in."
Nice.
And then we'll get people that come in, and it's like it's a win-win.
Hmm. That's good. How long do these last? Do you do like 6 weeks and then you pump it up on Instagram and it's like a huge publicity stunt? Like, or is it small, like low key, or?
Sometimes it's small. Normally during like Thanksgiving,
Hmm.
that's probably one of the ones that I pump up a little bit more. But I also ask like all of my clients because I do close on Thanksgiving, but I ask them to run or walk the
Nice.
Thanksgiving Day run or to walk run against hunger. And so again, it's one way to like get them focused.
Hmm.
They go out, run or walk, and then they can go home and pig out. Because I tell them that, like, I'm going to go run 6 miles and then I'm going to go home and enjoy my Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah. Professional fat ass is what I call it. It's when you work out just so you can eat more food, and just it's a great system. I like doing it
Yeah.
and it works very well. Mental health's at all time high right now. You're allowed to enjoy the barbecues, the family events, and you're not super
But you
stressed
got to
out.
have a balance
Yeah.
because it's life.
So when it comes to, and I love asking entrepreneurs this question, especially because I think balance in entrepreneurship is really, it's weird. It's like you have to earn the balance before you get to it. So when it comes to this entrepreneurship journey that you had, what were some moments where you had the least amount of balance in your life? Like when it came to building the clientele from 6 to 100.
Yeah, I didn't. I definitely, there was a time where I did not have balance because I was working so much,
Yeah.
and then I was always, trying to reply back to messages right away. And then that took away from my time. And it's hard because you obviously want to be on top of everything and you want to reply back. And
Hmm.
sometimes your clients forget that you have an actual life outside of your work.
Yeah, you do until you don't, and then you do again. It's
Yeah.
really weird. It's a weird transformation that has to happen before you can actually be successful. You have to get that escape velocity, right?
Hmm.
In order to get to the point where you can kind of like, I don't want to say cruise, but you're definitely climbing in some way.
Yeah.
Um, so how are you able to scale? Like, are you working on scaling? Is that a thing you're looking at now to do? Um,
Yeah.
in order to
And
make you more?
especially because, there's a lot of things that I want to do. And I have devoted a lot of my time to my business where like I really wasn't taking vacation.
Hmm.
I was working technically 7 days a week. And now that I'm also relocating my business,
Hmm.
to a little bit more foot traffic place. I'm getting more staff coming in. So I will be able to take a step back and enjoy life a little bit more.
That's good. That's good. So the staff is going to help out a lot. I'm very curious to check back in a couple months after you finish like moving kind of a bit more settled in,
Uh huh.
to see how managing staff works for you.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Because you were a manager before, so you have experience with this. But I think with
Yeah.
your own spot, it's a little bit different when you start out from ground zero.
Yeah.
And when
It's
it comes,
different because I get to pick the people.
yeah, okay, and that's really good. That's really important. Actually, that's a really good question to ask too. When it comes to building a solid foundation of a culture, like of a company's culture, how do you do that? And then like, yeah,
Well, that one definitely is hard because even with probably a lot of other businesses, the turnover rate is pretty crazy.
yeah,
So I think for me, I've started focusing a little bit on bringing in people that have gone through this journey themselves and have been a client because I've had clients for over 15, 16, 18 years.
hmm,
And some of these clients, sometimes they make comments like, "Hey, well, what would it take if I wanted to do this?"
yeah,
So like I think for me, it's going to be taking some people from inside of the studio that
hmm,
have been through a journey themselves
yeah,
and training them to train clients, getting them certified.
Hmm.
And then I probably will bring some outside people that are trainers themselves and are looking, to switch careers or something, or just something to do on the side.
Yeah.
But most importantly for me is like doing the inside. People that work that are clients have been through the journey, know the struggle, can relate
Hmm.
to other people that are coming in.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think that's just probably the easiest for me
Yeah.
right now.
And it's probably the easier, like, to palatability wise for the clientele as well, because it's not some stranger talking to them. It's someone that they know.
Yeah. And then plus they know the systems, they know how I run everything. So
Hmm.
it'll be a little bit easier. And then a lot of newer people, they have seen somewhat of the transition for that client or that new trainer. They're like, oh,
Hmm.
wow, you used to be 200 and something pounds and now you're over here doing this. Now you're doing runs.
Yeah.
They look up to that person. And sometimes they're a little bit less scared to talk to them than they are to talk to me.
Hmm. Yeah. And especially when it comes to like the belief, like the system of
Uh-huh.
creating that belief inside of your clients is super important. Because if they saw someone do it in real time, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, they're in the same tribe I am in. I
Uh-huh.
should be able to do that too. Right.
Yeah.
And that kind of creates the whole good, and then you're pushing each other and then you're more successful as a whole, which at the end of the day is what we're all here for. Okay. When it comes to like owning your own spot versus 24-hour fitness, how did those two cultures differ?
Well, a 24-hour fitness, like
Hmm.
there's a structure that you have to follow when you're training your clients. You really can't think outside the box.
Hmm.
And so, like with me, I like getting creative. And so, having my own spot, I could do, anything, that keeping it just fun and motivating. Like when you're at the gym, like you can only do the gym, you can only stay inside the gym. So, if we wanted to go for a run, we got to run on the treadmill.
Hmm.
When I have my own spot, we run around the block, we run to the park, we just do all these different things.
Okay. And I mean, what things did you keep the same?
Uh, probably the business stuff, like the
Yeah.
booking appointments, doing assessments,
Hmm.
doing their measurements, certain things actually I don't really do anymore. I don't do caliper body fat measurements anymore. So now there's a Tanita scale. So there's different things, but still somewhat the same.
Yeah. And the reason why I ask this too is I find that like a lot of entrepreneurs, it's actually good for us to get some big company experience and go,
Uh-huh.
okay, well, here's like systems thinking is huge, right? Being able to think in systems is a thing that isn't really common. And I think it's one of the big bottlenecks that stop a lot of early entrepreneurs from like growing to their full potential
Uh-huh.
because they're not able to kind of go, oh, well, how does this work across multiple channels, across multiple people, across, and that really stops them from being able to scale and being able to
Uh-huh.
kind of keep things organized. Cause I mean, these are highly creative people that you're working with, highly creative. I mean, you're a highly creative person for sure. So being able to take that creativity and actually channel it into something that can be applicable for like everybody on a bigger scale is
Uh-huh.
super difficult to do if you don't have the right systems. But these big
Yeah.
companies really have that done for you. And so kind
Uh-huh.
of learning that skill set and getting some cross pollination there could be useful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a to-do list, when you go into work,
Hmm.
24 hours would tell me like, okay, you have this going on, this client, you have a conference call at this time, you have, like looking at the booking, how many clients are coming in, you have assessments. It's all structured. So yeah, just taking it over.
Hmm.
Sometimes I forget, not forget, but it's just like the little tedious things. I'm just not one that can sit and do all these things. Like I'm I'm moving constantly. So I have to set time aside
Yeah.
to do those things.
Yeah. Keep a calendar. Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew? Be organized, keep a calendar. And it's really funny
Mhm.
too, because I know that a lot of fitness business entrepreneurs are notoriously not techie. And
Yeah.
it's a label for sure, because it's not difficult
Mhm.
to do. You know, you're not the only one who I've talked to, and that's why you're getting some of the stuff. Like when it comes to being organized and writing stuff down and taking notes and following up on some of the discussions, setting reminders. Actually,
Mhm.
I have this is a question from me, and I'm trying to help out my friend with what he's got going on. How do you encourage more people to show up to events on time?
Honestly, like I have to where if my clients show up late, they do a burpee for every time for every minute they are late.
Ooh, okay,
That gets people there on time or early. No
okay,
one likes burpees.
okay.
So it
So
works.
we have that. So we have a punishment in the form of burpees, right?
Uh,
And it's a community-wide thing. Okay. Do you send reminders a day before or a week before?
Well, yeah, because I use social media for that. So if we are doing stuff, having some type of an event run, text message, group text, yeah, to be there on time or you're going to get left behind.
Nice. Do you do that for, so is it, let's say you're doing a run, excuse me, let's say you're doing a run, right? You do your ones, how often do you do them? Once a week?
Yeah, we do group meetups
Okay.
once a week on Sundays.
So your group read one on Sundays. Does that mean Saturday
Mhm.
night you're sending the messages or the
Yeah.
message? Okay.
Because
So
it's been consistent, like that's the one thing I am pretty consistent even with my workout times.
mhm,
They're all consistent. They rarely change. The
nice.
only time that they do is if it's a holiday. Like tomorrow, I'm only doing
hmm
one group workout and that's it. But like Sundays, I run every Sunday.
Nice.
I feel like I do communicate with them. If I'm not going to be there, it's because I have a race. But
Yeah.
other than that, like we're running. If I don't feel good, sometimes I still show up and just may not, go as far, but I still try to be there so they could see like I made a commitment to you guys. I need you guys to make that same commitment back.
Nice. Nice. And that's respectable. Honestly, I think a lot of people they would rather you be in the shit with them than
Yeah.
on the side from like a very comfortable chair.
hmm
I just feel like it's easier to sympathize with. It's easier to go, okay, cool. Right. You're a leader, not a manager, which is very
Yeah.
important. It's good because I feel like it's really easy to feel like you're in a herd of cattle if you're in a group fitness class
uh,
compared to if you're actually doing a workout with someone and you're actually like
Yeah.
getting the souls for the person. That's awesome. So you send a reminder Saturday for Sunday's run. Do you
hmm
do a post as well?
Yeah. So I
Okay.
have, my own personal Instagram and then I have combines. I have the pole studio and then
hmm
my running pages. So it gets posted across the board.
Okay. So you post across the board. Is that a week before? Or is that
Normally it's a couple days. I feel like a week, some
okay?
people forget about it. So I
hmm
like Wednesdays for me. That's a good base. Okay.
Okay. So the run is
The
Saturday.
midpoint to the week.
So the run is Sunday. The reminder message is Saturday night,
Saturday.
and Wednesday you've posted a flyer or a post about the event
Yeah.
itself. And
hmm
then if you are late, however many minutes you're late is the amount of burpees you have to do.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, it's a good system. All right, cool. I'm gonna have to steal that. Oh my gosh. Even in things like weekly meetings, I think like culture or even building a company, it's important to have some things that you're doing as a group where you're just like everyone, regardless of who you are, adheres to these rules. That way there's some structure to the organization.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, we've kind of been kind of hammering this in a lot as far as like building a strong central community for your gym to operate with. Are there any like key people or key things that you need in order to build this where it's like, hey, I need like 5 people for every like 10 people who are kind of to be able to like carry the team a little bit and build the culture or what? Like, what's the ratio here?
I mean, I think that's a good ratio because you do, and you got to sometimes lean in on your stronger clients
hmm
to like help out in a way, like them making a post, them talking about their journey.
hmm
Because people forget sometimes. And then also what I love about that is that sometimes those clients forget how far they've come.
Nice.
And so when I ask them like, "Hey, can you make a post like a transformation post?" And they're like, "Wow, look at where I started, look at where I'm at." And then that remotivates them
hmm
because they've realized how much more they're able to do.
Yeah.
And so then more people start reaching out to them and it's just a trickle down effect.
Nice. When it comes time to asking, how often do you do that? Where you ask them to do a post?
Uh, I think when I look at the business and I feel like it's kind of starting to die down and people are starting to lose their motivation,
hmm
I ask for a post. And I even have my own personal journey as well. Like I've always been an athlete and I've always been somewhat fit, but I've also gone through the ways of gaining weight, losing myself in things because I'm so focused in something, or I'm going through personal stuff where I've completely like even though I may be working out or doing stuff, it's not as dedicated
hmm
because I'm going through something. And so like because I've been in business for so long, people have seen it. And then they've seen like the comeback and the comeback is always stronger.
Yeah.
And so clients can relate to that because I am human.
hmm
Sometimes they forget because, as an entrepreneur, you're just trained to just keep going and keep pushing through. And at the end of the day, we are human.
Yeah.
So sometimes I will post my own personal struggles and journeys so they can be like, okay, wow, she's going through it as well.
Hmm.
She, still pushing through. And then, yeah, it just motivates them. And then they find the fire inside themselves to make the jump.
That's really good. I feel like if you scheduled them out, you could probably get more consistent trickles of
Yeah.
motivation. I feel like there's some way to time it out, but that's just because
Probably if I did
I'm,
like a 3-month period.
yeah, I feel like every 3 months, you're like, hey guys, let's do a transformation post. Like, let's do a
Hmm.
contest. Who's transformed the most? Right. Food for thought. Like, because I'm working on, and so one of the things that I'm trying to work on building up a transformation contest, like a
Hmm.
logathon for like logging your food, because we're building up the app to like
Oh,
get people to
okay.
complain
Uh huh.
about it a lot. And so I'm like, how can we make it to where people are encouraged to log their food in a consistent manner to get them to the results? Because it's almost summertime, or it's basically summertime. We get a bunch of graduations, so a bunch of like people are hungover already
Yeah.
from Sac State's graduation for sure. And
Yeah.
like they're trying to get their butts together for adulting and for the next step in their lives. So from someone as someone who's gone through multiple transitions where you've become a business owner with over 100 clients now, getting regular transformations, done multiple marathons, right? When those big transitions happen, how do you kind of readjust to keep your motivation?
That's a hard one because it is hard.
Yeah.
Again, we lose ourselves in things, but I guess, just keeping track and having like that tracker. I mean, because yeah, we all go through these phases.
Hmm. Like graduation, right?
Yeah.
Um, is there a moment where you feel like you really graduated as an entrepreneur? Like, was there a big win?
Ugh. Honestly, I don't think I'm there yet.
Okay.
I think being in this new location will be that. Because they always say like once you've made your 5-year mark, you're good to go. But
Hmm.
I feel like I've been through so many, ups and downs in the almost 16 years
Yeah.
that moving into this new spot will probably be that pinnacle point for me where I'm like, okay, I finally made it.
Okay. Okay. Do you feel like, do you ever slow down, just like sniff the roses and be like, okay, here's what I've done so far, here's where I'm at? Or do you just kind of put your head down and keep going?
Um, I like again, being honest, I haven't done that yet. I'm still
Okay.
plugging away. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've a lot of delayed gratification, especially in this industry, in this type of, this line of work, right?
Mm,
It's just, okay, I'm so used to feeling crap that I don't take time to feel good, which I think is something that I personally have like learned to try to get better at doing at least once every so often.
hmm.
Because there's lots of wins out there, but you got to
Yeah.
keep that sense of play. You got to keep that enjoyment. You got to keep that fulfillment, right? That middle road.
But I think too, like I
Hmm.
really do enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
So to me, like I'm so blessed and grateful that I get to wake up and like train clients. So to me, it doesn't really seem like a job,
Yeah.
and then plus running, I enjoy running. So again, I'm just very fortunate. Like this is really what I enjoy doing. So it's not tedious or it's not like I got to get up and get to work.
Hmm.
Like no, like a lot, my clients are awesome. They're funny, we joke, even in the group workout. So it's just fun. Like I'm very grateful.
Right on. Was there a point where, I guess, before you started like really working out as a trainer, where you didn't enjoy working out?
Yeah, when I was working for the company because it's so monotonous,
Yeah.
and then it's more than just, when I became a manager, it's the numbers, sitting
Hmm.
in conference calls, sitting in, meetings. And again, it's just like, this isn't really what I signed up for.
Yeah. Yeah. You signed up to be a trainer and help people, which I think is a super important role to do.
Uh,
I think because trainers honestly like really do bring a lot of personality to the gym itself, like to that whole ecosystem. Like as much free work, as much fun as being like self-trained person is, like having a trainer is really nice. And they tell you things that you don't want to hear a lot.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, awesome. Cool. What are some of the things that you plan on doing in the future? Like what is your big like 2 year from now plan?
My big 2-year plan is hopefully not be working as much as I am, and really having the studio kind of run without me in there as much.
Okay. Is there
That's the
a
biggest one.
specific like target amount of people that you want in the studio? Is there a specific like? Now we're talking about numbers.
I mean, I would love to see it like double,
Yeah. So going to
double the
200
flow.
or
Yeah.
250.
Mhm. Because that
Nice.
just means, that's just we're helping another 150 people change their lives.
That requires consistent marketing. That
Mhm.
requires some more systems. That requires a little bit more monotony.
Yeah.
How do you create like a culture of consistency even when you're not there?
Well, one, obviously leading from the front, making sure I'm consistent with everything,
Hmm.
having my staff be consistent, and then that's gonna fall into our clients.
That's good. Okay. Cool. Where are some of the things that you want to do more of that will help build combined fitness? Kind of help build that aspect that you want more of.
Uh, One thing is putting myself out there more.
Hmm.
Kinda like doing this podcast. This is something that I really don't do. And networking. I don't
Hmm.
really network, and I need to get out there, meet other business owners, meet other people in the community, and this just goes back to me being more confident in what I do in my business to put myself out there more.
Yeah. I feel like you have a lot of insights that you could share more of. I feel like you certainly have more to offer that you like. I mean, that's the thing with confidence too, is
Mhm.
being comfortable with being uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
And then being yourself more often than not being yourself. I think
Mhm.
is kind of like the best display of confidence. And it's hard to do. I spent the past
It's
6
hard to
months.
do in a
Yeah.
male-dominated industry because that
Yeah.
has always from the get-go been a struggle. Being the only and actually at 24 Hour Fitness, I was the only fitness manager
Hmm.
in the Northern California region.
Okay.
There was another one, she was in Southern California. So, it was always male driven. So
Yeah.
I always had to I felt like I always had to push myself harder to be recognized a little bit more.
I kind of like that though, like as an aspect of I have to the chip on my shoulder to keep going. But how do you manage that? Like, because I've never been a woman. I have no idea.
Now there are more women entrepreneurs, which
Hmm.
is amazing. So I'm trying to link up with some of them. There are a couple, that's what social media is so great. There's a couple other trainers that I've become friends with only on social media, and we feed off of each other. Having been in this industry a lot longer, I feel like they do ask me a lot of questions, which is great.
Hmm.
But because of the area that they're at, there are certain things that I ask them, like, well, how are you getting your clientele? What creative things are you doing? So it's nice because we're able to share, and
Hmm.
then maybe something she's doing I've never even thought of.
Hmm.
And yeah, it just gets me excited all over again.
That's good. So, okay, is it just about being excited? Is that the main driver? Is like I got to keep the excitement, or like what? I
I feel
guess I'm
like
trying.
you have
Yeah,
to be excited because life is hard.
life is very hard.
You know, being, like your people's personal lives are hard and those are huge distractions. So if you're not
Yeah.
excited, then what are you
Right.
gonna do?
Yeah. How do you maintain? I mean, you've been pretty good about maintaining excitement, maintaining consistency. What happens when stuff just sucks? Like, what do you do when you're just eating glass?
I lie to myself. I mean, haven't you ever heard of Delulu as a Trululu?
Maybe
Like
not in those exact words, but yeah, to an extent
you
for
have
sure.
to be delusional, and
Yeah.
I pep talk myself all the time. And even if things aren't going good, I feel like there's a reason why they're not going good because something better is coming. And
Hmm.
so again, I may be very delusional, but that has worked for me for the last 16 years. I'm delusional enough to know that I'm successful in what I do. And so that's, one door closes, another one's going to open. If
Yeah.
I didn't get that client, another one's coming.
Nice.
So I just pep talk myself every single day.
That's really good. I feel like falling into this trap of having super logical. It's weird. You do have to be delusional to an extent in order to get any type of results because you kind of have
Hmm.
to keep yourself motivated, that narrative going in order for you to get to that next client that is going to show up. So you navigate terrible days really well.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I run. That's why I work out.
Yeah.
I take it out. I take it out on that.
Yeah. And that's the benefit of working out is like you get to be frustrated, but then you get to go exercise that frustration, which is why they call it exercising demons.
Hmm.
But who knew, right? Who knew all you had to do was take care of yourself?
Exactly. You have to be your
Yeah.
priority. You have to be your number one because again, for a lot of people,
Hmm.
Everybody counts on them. So if you can't take care of yourself, if you
Yeah.
can't be mentally strong, how are you going to take care of everybody else?
Yeah. If you can't build that capacity, if you don't have the capacity to do it, then is it really your capacity to do it? No.
Hmm.
That's really good. How do you read any books at all? Like, do you
Oh
read
my God,
anything?
I'm
What
such
do
a
you?
bookworm.
Ah, okay, good,
I
good.
love reading. That is like my fun fact about me is I'm such a book nerd.
Do you have any like entrepreneurship books that you read or like books on self improvement that you would recommend to people who are trying to get on your track?
God, there's so many. Like I literally have my own little library.
What are your top
I
three?
actually just, Think and Grow Rich is really a good one. It's a basic one. What is one that I just got? Let Them is
Okay.
another one by Mel Robbins. Because that one, I think, as an entrepreneur, you definitely should read because sometimes things could hurt your feelings, or you may not know why things are going on, and it's just let them be.
Okay.
So I think that one's a good one, probably to start off with. And then another one, I love Tony Robbins. So like Wakening the Giant Within is a great one.
Okay. I've heard his talks, but I've never actually read one of his books.
Have you his book? Okay, so I actually went to two of his conferences
Hmm.
and walk through fire. So I can say I'm a fire walker. And he's amazing. So when you go and see him in person and then buy his books,
Hmm.
and you're able to just piece things better. So I highly recommend everybody go see him.
That's good. Motivation, discipline, motivation, staying consistent, lying to yourself if you have a shitty day and
Yeah.
you're like, I'm going to make it somehow, somewhere. Um, and then marketing. I feel like marketing's been one of your biggest things that you're trying to grow on the most as far as like
Yeah.
keeping that consistency. Because it sounds like you look for a sign of danger before you market, which I feel like isn't going to be conducive to growth in the long term,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
Because if you're constantly like, oh, and now we bail out water, right? But if
Yeah.
you're like, okay, every month we do this, you'll keep stacking up to more wins,
Yeah.
which
I'm
I think
definitely going to start implementing that, putting that in my calendar.
that, yes. Oh my gosh. Wow. Someone took my advice. So as far as like the best advice you'd give someone, like what's a practical tip that you'd give someone who is, first starting out as far as like a basic practice they could do to get more clients, to get to that next level of entrepreneurship, like from 0 to 1?
Definitely promote yourself first and stay consistent with it. It doesn't have to be outrageous. It honestly, the I think basic always works with everything. So stay consistent, follow through, and really believe in yourself.
Mm, really? Okay. Stay consistent, keep it simple, right?
Hmm.
What is a simple
Especially
thing
when
that,
you're starting off.
yeah. So send everyone a message on your phone if you're doing a thing,
Hmm.
right? Hey, I'm doing this thing. Come support it. If you find value in it, stick around as an example, right? Um, how do you, in your personal opinion, and I actually do like want to hear this one, what is your personal definition of value? Like entrepreneurs talk a lot about creating value, but what is value in your eyes?
Oh my goodness, there's so many ways to answer that, but oh God, I don't even know how to answer that. Honestly, like I'm gonna have to think about that one.
Okay. Got time?
Oh God, because I don't know, what is it to you?
Okay. To me, value is like
Wait,
value is one of those things where, okay, how much effort I would be willing to do to achieve something, right?
uh-huh.
Value can be like, for example, this software that we're using to record this podcast on, right, is extremely valuable because it makes the video easy for me to upload to YouTube and will save me a bunch of time and effort. So I pay for it, right?
Uh-huh.
The number that I pay is just the number I pay. And it's going to change with inflation, right? It could be $30 today. It could be $40 in 2 years from now, right? As with gas, the way it's going, it's probably going to be close, right? If I'm working out and I hire a trainer, I'm going to shortcut the amount of time it's going to take me to get to that level of expertise
Mm-hmm.
in a faster timeline, which is what I want to do when I pay for a trainer. If I'm like, money's just canned time in that way, where it's just like, I'm going to use it to save myself some time. Right. So value can be looked at in a couple ways, as far as time, as far as efficiency. Right. If I'm a CEO of a, Fortune 500 company and I hire A+ talent, I'm probably going to be charged A+ money. Right.
Yeah.
But it's because that person's going to save me so much headache and emotional bandwidth that they're worth their
Mm-hmm.
weight in gold. Right. So value is really the effort that I would be willing to expend. Right. The effort or the cash I'd be willing to expend in order to achieve that value, which
Then
is
I would add
using,
maybe
yeah.
feelings of value,
Say that one more
like
time.
that
Yeah.
feelings of value. So like that amazing feeling, is invaluable. Like especially when you are working with a trainer,
Hmm.
you know, there's no, I think, as long as if it's making you feel good, the value of it,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how much it charges.
Yeah. Because there's definitely negative value,
Yeah.
right? There's something concept of like positive value and negative value. It's probably
Hmm.
no value, neutral, right?
Yeah.
Um, but that's the game we play as entrepreneurs. It's just value creation and how to keep it
Hmm.
going. All right, Lurysol,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you on Zero to
Yeah.
One podcast. Where can people go to keep up with you?
You can find me on Instagram, which is easier, Fitlery. And then you can also follow my other pages, Combined Fitness 209 or Latinos on the Run.
Right on.
We do go up to Sacramento sometimes to run.
Hey, let us know.
Yeah,
We'll put on our jog and we'll start going. I've been running like 3 miles every week, so I don't know if
perfect.
we'll be able to keep up with you guys, but we'll see.
I'll surprise you. You will.
All right. Well, have a good one, everyone. Thank you for checking us out. Bye.
Bye.